What is up, guys? I'm so happy to have you with us today. This is the first of 4 mini pods that Squeegee is going to put out this week, and it's all designed to get hyped up for the upcoming convention, the Elevate convention with the PWNA and the IWCA. So, who could I have on that could just bring to life the excitement that we have for the convention? And our very own Luis Martinez. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. So Luis, if you don't know, he's on the board of the IWCA, but he's also are you what are you like? Not you're an assistant for the convention committee. Is that your like official title?
Co-chair for the convention committee.
Co-chair, that's it. Co-chair for the convention committee. So we've been able to work a lot together on the convention and just kind of the goal for the IWCA is to really embrace this union that we have with the PWNA and just really bring life to our industry. And especially as we're getting together from we're going to have like, I think it's 700 people was the last count. And we know it's going to be more.
Absolutely.
It's probably going to be up to about 1,000 by the time everything's said and done. So, Luis, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, your background in the window cleaning industry? I know you kind of came in it through a little backwards way.
Sure.
And then how you got to the IWCA.
Yeah, definitely. I did not clean windows. I was doing mostly housekeeping. That's what you do when you Google, what do you start with no money? And house cleaning comes up. It goes, hey, I'll pay you more if you clean my windows. Naturally,
Right.
Go on YouTube and look at those famous Keith Kalfas videos on how to, grow your window cleaning business. And then I did that for a few months, and a scholarship through into the Flow group came up. I ended up winning one of those essay contests, and I got invited to join the IWCA at a convention. I think I made a good impression because a few months later, they're like, "You want to join the board?" And I thought they were crazy. But I was very fortunate. It was Peter Artuza who saw something in me with the recommendation of a few people. And, I just said, you know what? I can relate to people that are new to the industry. A lot of these people have been in business for so many years. You do kind of forget, or you forget what's trending. It's a little different a few years later to start a business than it was 20 years ago. So I kind of saw it in, and I took advantage. And this is my 5th year now that I'm about to start with the board.
Nice. Excellent. Well, I love having you on. You have a sales mentality, and
absolutely.
And when I say that, guys, I'm not just just saying that just to have content here. This guy can sell just about anything. If you are at a convention, you could probably pay him $10,000 to stay outside your booth, and he will make that up and double it. He is just a natural. One of the things that you are really committed to this year when it came to the convention was really making it more exciting. So could you talk about some of the things, some of the new initiatives that we're going to do to try and just get it a little more lively and help our guests to feel like they're a part of something real special?
Yeah, definitely. I joined the organization. I asked around, and I wanted to figure out kind of what it was all about. Everybody had different opinions. And to be honest, I did hear a lot of stuff that wasn't the best. And a lot of it was that it was outdated. It felt like you were in the 80s.
Yeah.
People that had previously served on the board or were members. So I said, okay, what can I do that's a little bit different? The excuse that has always come up is, well, there's not enough money in our industry, this and that. And so I said, okay, let me look for new sponsors then. And, we were able to bring in $20,000 from House Call Pro, and working on some other stuff right now for 2027, hopefully bring in some much bigger sponsorships as well too. And I said, okay, well, we can do to make the convention feel like a party, a celebration, more than it was like this boring classroom, thing that you don't want to wake up on a Wednesday morning at 7:00 to attend, even though you paid a bunch of money to stay at this hotel. So, I said, we got to have a DJ. And so we brought in a DJ. So we're going to have, live music coming up. And I said, I want a party. And so, we're very fortunate with the sponsorships of Alcor and House Car Pro. We're going to be throwing a nice mixer. And so there's going to be also a DJ there. It's going to be like a great networking event, but it doesn't feel boring and dull. It's going to be exciting. It's going to want you to open up. Even those that are attending for the first time, they're a little bit on the shy side. It's my job to make you my friend and connect you with other people. So if you are thinking about going, just know there is a first timers meet and greet. We've got a mixer going on.
Yeah.
You're not the only one that feels like this. And I promise you that
Yeah.
my role will be to introduce you to somebody that's related to you, or somebody that you've been wanting to meet that you feel like everybody feels like, oh my God, this company's too big. I can't talk to them or whatever. Like, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Everybody that attends is unbelievably nice. I freaked out when I met you, Gabe. I was like, oh my God, this is that cutie patootie. And, I got to meet you. You were just like the sweetest guy in the world. And so and by the way, we're going to probably dive into it a little bit more. Our relationship blossomed. You became a huge mentor in
Yeah.
my life. You trained me and my guys, and, all that came from this convention. So, except now it's going to feel like a party. So it's going to be a lot easier. It takes the edge off. We got a few things coming up that are going to feel a little bit different, a lot more lively, and you're going to want to continue to come to these conventions.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Jessica Battle. She's this is gonna be her first time attending the convention. She commented, "That's me."
Yeah,
I can't tell you how awesome it is to go to the first timers event. I went to it. I really didn't want to go because I'm not really a kind of a schmoozer. I don't go.
right,
I become one as the more I'm longer. I'm a business person. But when I went, I was real nervous. There's a ton of people who all seemed like they knew each other. I
right.
didn't know anybody. And it was Michael Draper actually who kind of took me under his wing and says, "Hey, you need to meet some people." Introduced me to board members, introduced me to longtime IWCA members, vendors. Oh, hey, this is the guy that owns Tucker. This is the guy who does this. And I mean, of course, I at that time I didn't know anything about the industry, so it just really it made me feel like I was a part of it before the whole convention happened. And I
Exactly.
think
Yeah,
if this is your first time, please make it a priority. Attend that first timers mixer because you're going to get to meet a ton of people. A lot of people you probably thought you'd never meet. You just see online and they kind of seem like they're far away, but you realize in the window cleaning community, there's not seven what is it? Seven, not steps of separation. What is the other one? Seven. I'm forgetting the phrase, but it's more like three. It's like if you don't know the person, probably the next person you probably know somebody who
absolutely.
does. So
Yeah,
if there's someone you want to meet, just ask, and if
yeah,
they're there, you'll get introduced.
yeah. And my superpower, I've said this on with the board at our last convention. Like, I can make a friend, even if I've never met them before. But you want to meet
Mhm.
them, I promise you, I can bring value in the sense like I'll ease that connection. I'll make it so you're not as nervous when you're meeting that person, breaking
Mhm.
the ice, stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
great at that. So if you guys want to learn that, pick my brain and you can talk to anybody at that convention. I can guarantee you they're going to be really sweet people, very welcoming. And it's just the idea of it is scarier than actually doing it. When you go home, you're not going home with a bunch of papers that you're never going to look at again. You're
Right.
going home with the
That's it.
friendship. You're going home with
Yep.
someone's phone number you never thought you were going to get. You're going to go home with somebody that you're going to network probably for the rest of your career in the industry, if not more, kind of like I did with you.
Yeah.
So
Let's talk a
I'm
little
just
bit about that because I think our relationship has a lot to that because you're talking about me mentoring you, but I learned a ton from you as well because I don't have I have kind of a sales background, but it's more customer service. It's not
Mhm.
really convincing the other person that they want something that maybe when they first talked to me they didn't want, right? So
Yeah,
so let's talk a little bit about how we kind of connected and how we've kind of turned that into a long-term friendship.
yeah. So I didn't know when I met you in person. I didn't know Gabe was the same as Gabe's Spotless Window Cleaning. So we had already had a bunch of interactions where you were super, intelligent with your responses. You're very welcoming and warm, and it didn't make me feel like my questions were stupid. And I didn't realize that until we became friends. So that already was amazing when I first got to meet you. The other part was that I brought up, hey, I want to get better at window cleaning. As I said, I came from house cleaning background. I'm just googling random videos, and I didn't even know I was losing a ton of money. I mean, a standard house that takes me, 45 minutes to an hour would take me 5 or 6 hours before. And so you're like,
Yeah.
Luis, come on by. I'll train you. I got you. Don't even worry about the money part. Like, I just want to help you. Just you being the great human being that you are. I head over to Vegas. The stories came up not long ago, by the way. It was
Oh,
116
did it?
degrees. It was 116
Yeah,
degree
yeah.
weather in Arizona, and I remember the first 30 minutes I just wanted to go home. And I said,
Yeah, I
no, there's
remember.
something.
Poor guy. I was like, oh, this kid's not going to make it.
Yeah, I was like, there's something to this. Like, I need to suffer to get to that next level. And I'm so glad that I stuck it out, that I even came back the next day and I worked with you throughout the day. I learned so much from you. It wasn't so much the window cleaning, it's that you built me with confidence, and I feel like that's what we're losing. Like, we're capable, but we lack the confidence to accept that we're capable. And it's such like a foreign idea that shouldn't be, but it is. And when you're with somebody that is just, you're very firm in your values, and you were able to translate that over to me. So when I got back, it wasn't so much that I was a better window cleaner, I was a better leader. And
Yeah.
and I was able to translate that to my guys. And so then I had a crew that was, struggling to do one, maybe two houses a day, till we were knocking out 4 or 5 houses a day. And that's kind of how we started, and it's been blossoming ever since.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad that you said that, because I think the mind part of window cleaning, it's like, I can't, we're always saying it, right? It's just window cleaning. It's not rocket science. It's not this, but there is something to, like you said, the confidence. And if you are kind of building your window cleaning business in a bubble, in other words, all you know is your local competitors. You see these guys online that just seem like they're way far beyond where you're ever going to be. You do feel kind of insulated, and you feel like, oh, I'm just going to work within my own little space and not really try to grow. So one of the things is, like, us making that connection is you do kind of get exposed to, like, oh, hey, we got along great, but it's because we were just friendly. We're both humans, right? We're both friends. Right. We both have similar backgrounds, being Hispanic and having that, kind of as a basis. But bottom line is, we're both just trying to be the best window cleaners we can be. And of course, you picked up. You already had the baseline, so all I had to do was just show you something once, and you just got it right away. So that helped a lot too. But being exposed to people at the convention, it opens up your eyes to what the possibilities are. That you don't have to be trapped in this box that you've trapped yourself in. That if you just are willing to take a step outside and handle the mind games that come with business ownership,
Absolutely.
Getting past the self-confidence issues, getting past the worries about, am I going to have work next month? How am I going to pay my bills? Those are natural. Every single window cleaner you see who's doing well went through that, and they survived. So it's just being mentally tough, and then making the smart moves from here on out, so that you can get out of that hole, and that's what the conventions are designed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, you totally, like I said, you taught me, and you're still teaching me. I'm still kind of my personal weak spot, and now that I started Squeegee U, what's Gabe Spotless, I had that more or less automated. I've got marketing, I've got my office, so I don't need to be the salesman other than when I'm networking, which is just being myself. But now with Squeegee U, we were at the huge convention. You just took over my booth for like 20 minutes, and you're like, this is how you do it, Gabe. And then you showed me, I'm like, oh, you got to qualify people. You got to do this, and I'm like, oh, what are you sitting down for? Get over here, stand on the side of the table. And I'm like, dude, that's good stuff. That's stuff that I've never had to do before,
Yeah.
So that's where we can kind of, iron sharpens iron, and we can help each other with our strengths. But that's the goal of the convention. Find those people who have the sharpened part that you need, and then maybe you can pass on something to them that they need.
Yeah, and you don't realize that you have a superpower, right? I'm really keen on that word.
Yeah.
But you discover that, like, being around people that are smarter than you, that are kinder than you. I truly believe that when I step into the room in these conventions, that everybody's just, on a pedestal, so to speak. But then the best version of myself comes out, and then you get to discover who you are. So there's a lot of people right now, that are feeling like that about attending this convention. There's a lot of hype around it. It's a sold out hotel. It's
sold out trade show.
Sold out trade show. It's a big deal. So I do kind of start to see people being a little bit nervous. Like, I dare you to come and have a great time, discover yourself, and you're gonna leave a better person. Like, I see no downside all around.
Yeah, for sure. Just real quick, Jorge came in. He popped in. He says, "How am I supposed to be on tomorrow and follow up the silly goose Luis Martinez?"
That's my boy George.
George is gonna be awesome, man. So he's on tomorrow. Please marketing. You're going to want to listen to him. He's got a great story. He's a RDS trainer and just a generous person with his time, and the stuff that he's done for helping Spanish language RDS window cleaners is just amazing. So we'll get into
and he's so humble.
Looking forward to seeing what
such a humble guy. He would never talk about it unless it comes out in context of the association. He's not someone to brag about it or anything like that. Just a great person. You're gonna want to make him your friend. Like, he's just a cool guy to have around.
Yeah.
Just a great human being. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what we got planned, because the Elevate convention is I think of it as phase one of the evolution of the IWCA convention, right? And, and we're still working out the dynamics if we're going to be with the PWNA next year. We're hoping that we can work those things out and make it happen again because of the response we've had on this one. But let's talk about what plans you have for the future, because you kind of ran into some ideas at some other convention that you've been to that you want to bring over to ours. So why don't you share a little bit about that?
I mean, future-wise, the way I see it, I went to World of Concrete. They shared the spot with International Roofing Expo. And in the dead center of the trade show was a Latin lounge. They had open bar all night, making micheladas. They had live DJ the entire time. They had industry leaders talking to everybody, making them feel welcome. They made sure nobody felt out of place. They had a stage in that lounge where they were teaching Spanish classes. It wasn't just like a certification; it was like entrepreneurship as well too. And to me, like, that's the new dream right now, is to cater to the Spanish speakers. I'm gonna cater to everybody that I can, but I feel like that's a group that's very huge in our industry that don't know they have this platform, that can provide access to, safety, to networking, and something of the sort. And so that's something that I'm working on. Going to be working with some really big companies to hopefully bring that to fruition. And then just to continue to innovate. I've been very fortunate where I was able to lend my virtual assistant to the IWCA, and it's helped tremendously. And I want to continue to do things like this to bring, the IWCA with the help of everybody else into the modern era, because just like a business, if you're not growing, you get left behind. There's no such thing as plateauing, right? Not in business. It's either you're going down or you're growing. And so I really want to make sure we stay in the forefront. And with that, we need new ideas. We have to be innovative, take risks. Yeah, some are going to fail, and that's okay. But I think if we continue to stay innovative, eventually we'll find our stride and continue to grow into this next phase in our industry.
Yeah, for sure. And you've had some really great ideas. We haven't been able to flesh them all out yet, but we're really trying to kind of go into the next generation of IWCA conventions, and we want it to be, to kind of evolve with the industry. Like you talked about having the Latin lounge, people are like, well, why is that so important? But you have to remember, a lot of employees are Spanish speaking, and even if they speak English, their mother tongue is Spanish. So to be able to go to a convention and have a place where they don't have to feel kind of different, they don't have to feel like they stick out.
Yeah.
They're a large part of the workforce in window cleaning.
Yeah.
So why not, if they're going to come, if their employers are going to bring them, or if they're going to come on their own just because they care about the industry and want to learn.
I'll add to that. They're also a huge part of the business owner aspect as well too. I've met so many business owners at other first timers meet and greet. I had a whole table of like 8 different business owners, all speaking Spanish, and I'm pretty sure some of them are going to be raising their hand right now as they're watching this video. And they don't even know that this exists. Somehow, some way they heard about it last minute, and that's why they showed up. But now if you're like, hey, there's this whole space where I can just not feel like I'm out of place.
Right.
I don't really understand some of the classes, but we're educating them with safety in Spanish, and they go a whole year without a single incident. Nobody fell off a ladder. Nobody died. Nobody got electrocuted. Like, that's a win. That's exactly what our association is about. And all because now they know that there's a platform where they have access to all this. Like, yeah, that's the dream right there. That's exactly what I want for the association.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. So this year, what are you going to be doing? What are you? I know you're going to be running all over the place, being co-chair here. But what are some things? Where can people find you if they want to talk
Super
with you at the
easy.
convention?
Super easy. I will be spending most of my time shaking hands, kissing babies, saying hello, and I'm going to be a large part of it working at the House Call Pro booth, and I'm just going to be,
There you go.
promoting their app, their program, their CRM. They've been very kind to me, and they've allowed me to travel with them to many trade shows. They've been a huge sponsor of the IWCA. Our values align in many ways, and so it just naturally happened. So you can find me at the House Call Pro booth. Um, Shameless plug, but let them know I sent you, and it helps me out a little bit
No,
as well too.
yeah, no shame at all because I mean, listen, having sponsors at conventions like this is not new. $20,000. I mean, we are putting that money to good use. That is going directly back to the people who are attending. That's part of the reason why we're able to make so many such growth. And be able to add more things and make it more fun and make it more social than we have in the past is because of sponsors like them. So we absolutely want to give House Call Pro props for helping the IWCA with
Yeah,
that and helping
yeah,
us
and they,
to,
they made a few
to
of my
reap
dreams
one of
come
the gold.
true. Yeah, they made a few of my dreams come true, which I did not shut up for 4 years that I wanted a photo booth at the convention, not some little janky stuff. Like I've been to many conventions, fortunately.
Yeah.
They got like 360 camera booths with the red carpet and all that. I was like, I want that. And they made it happen. So we got some cool stuff, so it's not just, you're gonna show up and that's it. Like create memories, capture them, take them with you. And we got a film crew that's gonna be coming out, professional film
Yeah.
crew, and they're gonna be recording, but it's gonna be a little bit more modern in the style of videos that they take. They're gonna keep a lot of the B-roll so we can promote the association throughout the year as opposed to like some boring interview like how do you like the convention, and it's just I don't know, some very dull,
Yeah.
interaction that even you
And
won't look back.
everybody's stiff.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. Yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot more fun, a lot more lively. That's definitely what we're pushing for.
Yeah, and professional. I mean, I was one of those men on the street people when I first came into the IWCA because that was what I volunteered for. Before I was on the board, so I did a lot of those. I'm recording on my phone, and I'm
Yeah,
got a little janky microphone, lapel microphones, and I mean it was fine. It served its purpose, and I was free, so the price was right. But to have a professional film crew come in and actually document what's happening, that's going to be huge, and it's gonna we'll be able to have marketing materials for the next convention that we
yeah,
can actually use, and it's like actually going to look really good. So yeah, it's an investment in the future for sure, in future conventions, 100%. So tell me, so you just so everyone knows, so he was on the board. You served 3 years, right? You
right.
filled your finished your, and then you came off for a while. Now you're back on.
Yes,
So
sir.
why did you come back? What was your goal in coming back from the
Because
last time?
you and Jeff likes asked me to come back, and I absolutely adore you both, and 100% that's the reason. Yeah, you guys
Probably
are.
the right word was beg, right? I was just like,
Yeah,
come on, Luis, come on. Because
yeah,
I came on right when you came off, and I was so excited to serve with you. And then I was like, man, Luis is gone. Like, I got it. You had other things going on, and you wanted to use your energy in ways that you thought. But now that you're back, what are you looking forward to in the next 2 years since you just finished your first of a 3-year term?
I think I want to chase some really big sponsors and not in our industry. I'm trying to think outside of the box. I don't know how I'm exactly going to accomplish that, but I think a big push is going to be towards like what do you call it, like House Call Pro, right? That was something that was a little bit outside of the box from
Yeah.
our traditional, window cleaning sponsors, which I'm super grateful for. But like I said, if we want to continue to innovate, have to think outside the box. So there are a couple other companies in parallel industries that I want to reach out to, and so a big push is going to be getting those big sponsors. Like the way I see it, in the next 2 3 years, we're getting $100,000 sponsorship,
Wow.
something of the sort. That's my goal. That's my dream. How I'm gonna get there, I'm not really sure. Another thing too would be to bring in a few more virtual assistants, so we can offload some of the work to people that just dedicate themselves to maybe like editing videos for the
Right.
IWCA.
Right.
Staying in trend with using AI to help build some of this material as well too. Um,
Right.
and then just kind of get out of that mindset where I've heard from a lot of people we're stuck in the 80s, it's the old boys club, which if us that were on the board, we know it's nothing like that. We have some amazing, powerful women that are on the board and within the management company. My VAs, they're they're rock stars. It's not the old boys
Yeah. Yeah.
club anymore. I had heard that, and
Eh,
it's nothing like that. And I just wanted people to know, not only is it not like that, like these women are leading the charge in a lot of these changes that we're doing.
100%. I just wanted to touch base on what you said about VAs, how important that is right now. Um, a lot, well, at least when I came on, a lot of the work was busy work, and it's
Yeah.
stuff that has to be done. 100% has to be done. But it's like, we're business owners. We got other things going, and we can do work we have to dedicate work for the IWCA, but then we got to get back to our own businesses and other things on that. So to having a dedicated VA staff would be just, I mean, we have a little bit, we have help with Daphne, she's been great. And of course we have people with the management company who have that time and are being paid for that work that's going on. Cool. If we could have a full staff, right? Just people there, that's just to do the work and get it done. And we can say, hey, let's do this. And someone immediately is working on it. Man, that would just be so awesome. It would just really change kind of the trajectory of what we're capable of doing, without having to make it complicated by, well, who's going to do the work, right? It's someone's idea. It's typically someone has the idea, and now it's their responsibility to figure out how to get it done. And now we would have a team that could work with that person to help get it done, and help those
Right.
dreams happen and that growth. So I'm excited about that prospect.
Yeah, I want to look back in a year and just see this video, and we're like, remember we said we wanted that, and now it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what I appreciate about you, Luis. You're a visionary in that sense. And I think when I came on the first year, it was kind of almost like, and it wasn't this exact conversation, but it was kind of a mixture of, well, how do we keep doing what we're doing, and how do we avoid losing members? Well, how you avoid losing members is by not doing what you're always doing, is by changing things up and making it more relevant to the people you're trying to get. And I feel like we're at that stage now where we are looking to innovate. And I think you're a big push for that. Your ideas that you've had have just been really great, and you're always thinking about the future. And I think that's why I'm really happy that you're on the convention committee, because that means that those future thoughts those seeds that you're planting now will come to fruition back in the next 2, 3, 4 conventions. So I appreciate all the hard work that you've done with the convention committee.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been a great amount of people who have been helping out, So I've been super grateful to everybody around me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's about wrapping things up here. Anything you want to share before we close up shop here?
Yeah, the convention will be hosting Spanish classes, certifications completely in Spanish. So highly encourage those that are Spanish speakers que vengan a agarrar sus certificados y aprendan sobre nuestra industria para volverse más profesionales de los que son ahorita. Y si no tienen un amigo, les prometo que yo sería su primer amigo.
Awesome. Well, that's a good lead into George tomorrow. So
Yeah.
we're going to have Jorge on, and we'll get to continue that conversation. But thanks again, man. I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate our friendship over these years. And I'm really happy that we got to serve at 1 year together, and we're looking forward to the next few.
Oh yeah, man. I love you, brother. You're an amazing human being, and I feel bad for anybody that hasn't had the opportunity to meet you yet.
Well, we'll have to just leave that up to their own experience. Some people might disagree with you. But no, I appreciate you. Thank you all for listening as well. Again, these are going to just be mini pods. We're going to try and keep them right around 30 minutes to make it easy so you guys can get on with your day. But we want to make sure we just get everybody's enthusiasm up for the convention. And maybe some people who are on the fence but still might be able to come, they might just be able to swing a last minute flight and get over to the convention and come hang out with us. So thank you guys. Take care. And we appreciate everyone who came in. We had, Craig checked in, Craig Hensel. Nice to see you, bud. We had Colin Hewitt. He's also someone who pops in quite often. Jamie Hallman. Excited to have him. Chris Simmons. So yeah, we had a really good crowd. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but don't worry, we're going to be doing this next 3 days. So look forward to seeing you then. You guys take care.
Thank you.